What is going on YouTube? Welcome back to A Therapeutic Edge. Now today, well, we're looking at an older Civivi. This has been around for a while. This is the Civivi Baklash. Now this one is a little special. This one is Damascus, and it is absolutely gorgeous. But the dimensions, cutting edge, and all of the knife remain the same between this and the 9CR14 MOV version, which you can still get almost anywhere today. Now, why am I looking at an older knife? Well, I recently ran into a friend of mine at a gun and knife show, and he had this on the table, and so I picked it up. I had never really had a chance to hold one of these, and it's really very good. I mean, it's very good, and it is really slicey back here behind this edge, which, upon investigation to other people's reviews and other things going on online, appears to be a well-known element of the Civivi Baklash. I am stoked to have this thing in the collection. It is G10 on steel liners. It has a nice deep carry pocket clip, and I mean nice. This thing rides the pocket very, very well. It has a nice forward choil, which is big enough to get my finger in for delicate work, and a blade built for delicate work. You know, this is one of those knives where a lot of my knives are sharp, but they have kind of a thicker edge because I tend to buy knives that have a beefier blade. This thing, the first time I took it out to open a package, I went through the tape, into the cardboard, through the cardboard, and all the way out. I mean, it is a razor blade, and I really like that. Now, their Damascus is, well, it's unknown. I don't know what's in it. I do know that the people online that have reviewed these, and there are a few, say that it holds an edge pretty well, and I have had no trouble with it at all. As I said, I've done some cutting with it, I've done some carrying with it, and it has never presented a problem to me. And what it does is it just manages to be really gorgeous. Now, the action is very good. It is running on bearings, and it does, as with all Civivi knives, it does a great job of everything it is supposed to do. But it's a little more than that. I have a lot of budget knives. This qualifies. I think this is about $78 in this fit and finish, and I think they're about $45 with the standard 9CR14 MOV blade. It is very, very comfortable. The jimping up here for the thumb is done just right. You can get your finger, as I said, into this choil, and it remains very comfortable. I was very surprised. I'm going to say very a few more times, apparently. I was exceptionally surprised by this knife. It has a nice lanyard hole if you lanyard, and some people do. It has a reversible clip, because it just has the two holes here, so you can swap the clip over and drop it right on this side if you are a lefty. Now, because it is a liner lock, it's not entirely ambidextrous, but it will suffice. This one has all black liners, black pocket clip, black hardware, just the silver C for Civivi on the pivot. I am absolutely in love with this knife. And, you know, you guys know, you've seen my channel. I have a lot of knives. It kind of takes something special to really stand up and shout at me. And this does that. And it reminded me of something, a knife that I already have, which is this. This is the Reich 1902. And I've realized I've never done a review on this, so there's one of these coming. It'll be a little later this week, likely. But the blade shape and the overall feel in hand is very similar. The difference is, this is a $300 knife, $280 knife. This is a $45 to $80 knife, depending on what blade you get. This is one of those budget knives that I should have had a long time ago, because I would have recommended this above a lot of other knives over and over again. For an everyday user, this very thin edge, the thin blade stock, the comfort and feel of this knife is just a complete win. Now, I'm going to hear a lot of you, I can already hear you say, but 9CR14 MOV, look, for your average user, not a knife guy, not a knife nut, just someone who drops a pocket knife in their pocket and uses it, that 9CR, or whatever this Damascus happens to be made of, is more than enough. And with this hollow grind and with the way this thing is built and shaped, an average knife user would get a ton, just an absolute ton of functional and good use out of this knife without hesitation or problems. And that, to me, is the sign of a really well-made and thoughtfully thought-out knife. Let's get some specs and see what you get here. You get 1, 2, 3 inches of cutting on 3.5 inches of either Damascus or 9CR14 MOV. The overall knife is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just at 8 inches long, which is really good for most people's EDC uses. I'm going to break out the scale for this one. Oh, I went ahead and bumped the camera. Sorry about that, guys. This knife is 3.9 ounces. Now, for some of you that have a ounce per inch for blade thing, that's going to seem a little heavy, but with steel liners that are milled, that's a really nice weight for this knife. It really very much is. We are at just a little under a 1/2 inch through the handle. And I'd say the blade stock is a couple of millimeters. Look, this is just a fine pocket knife. It really is. And it is now added to my list of knives that I recommend to other people who aren't knife nuts. Because this has everything that I would want in it for a knife for someone that I care about that wants a knife. It is ergonomic. It is well thought out and designed. It is comfortable in hand. It cuts like crazy. And let's not kid ourselves. At least to me, it's really attractive. And it's very stabby. As you can see, it comes to a very, very thin tip. Now, you're not going to want to use this as a pry bar, but of course, don't pry with your knives. And of course, if you get into a situation where that reverse grip is necessary, this is very, very stabby. I'm really impressed. Of course, Civivi makes good knives. That's just what they do. But this is remarkable. I love this thing. Let's get some size comparisons so you get a visual of what we're talking about. Here, of course, is my small knife comparison tool. This is the Benchmade Bug Out. And as you can see, the Civivi Baklash is considerably larger. For a slightly larger knife, let's go ahead with the Ritter Hogue, which is an ideal stand-in for the full-size Benchmade Griptilian. Now, these knives are very similar in size. In fact, they're both right at 8 inches. You get a little more cutting surface on the Ritter Hogue, but you get, well, this knife, the Civivi, is $100 less. Now, I do recommend this all the time, but a lot of people don't want to spend $150 on a knife, and I recognize that. And then there is this, which means you don't have to. I love stuff like this. I love when I've been wrong. Now, I never had bad feelings about this knife. I just never had one. And that meant that I didn't think much of it or think to look at it really. And when I got the opportunity, it completely sold me. It's very good. I hope you've enjoyed this. I know I have enjoyed having this in the collection. I've certainly enjoyed using it. If you're looking for a good budget knife in the $40 to $50 range, or up to about $80 if you want the Damascus, the Civivi Baklash is an absolute recommend. It really is. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to go ahead and end it here because there's not much else to say except this is a really good knife. Please like the video, down the little thumbs up on your way out. It does help the channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. I would love to have you here on a regular basis. And on that note, we'll see you next time.